There exists a type of creature in this world that is discovered by a few people, but has not been confirmed to exist. We collectively refer to such creatures as unidentified mysterious animals, unconfirmed organisms, abbreviated as UMA. Hello everyone, welcome to the UMA video series. In South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province, Howick, there is a highland waterfall that shares its name with the city. Since the mid-19th century, this place has become synonymous with despair and evil. As if imbued with magic, a large number of suicides have occurred here. Frequent murders and drowning accidents add to the terrifying reputation. Sometimes, bodies would not surface for days. Even when they did, they were often missing limbs. The local Zulu people regard the pool beneath the waterfall as a place of danger and magic. They attribute these strange deaths to people angering the monster in the pool. And that brings us to today's topic: the water monster in the myths and folklore of eastern South Africa. Inkanamba. The name Inkanamba, in Zulu language, means tornado. As the name suggests, the Zulu people believe that an angry Inkanamba will unleash endless storms, destroy people's homes, and leave them homeless. This also includes flooding, heavy rains and other highly destructive natural disasters. In local legends, it is often described as a gigantic serpent-like creature. Its head resembles that of a horse. It is most active in water during the hot summer months. When it searches for a mate or patrols its territory, it flies into the high clouds. Sometimes, it mistakes the reflective rooftops of houses for water surfaces. Upon landing and realizing the deception, it retaliates. It summons hurricanes and hailstorms to destroy the buildings. The local Zulu tribes offer livestock as sacrifices to the water deity in the lake, and the spirits of ancestors resting at the lake's bottom, praying for a peaceful life. Zulu women sing at the top of the waterfall to plead with Inkanamba to release the bodies of their loved ones so they can hold proper funerals. Tribes often recount the story of a child playing near the waterfall who was dragged underwater and drowned by Inkanamba. There are even tales that anyone who catches a glimpse of Inkanamba will face misfortune. They believe only shamans with supernatural powers can approach the area around the pool, or else they will be killed by the water monster. Apart from the Howick Falls, Inkanamba is also believed to inhabit large bodies of water in the upper reaches or tributaries of the Umjanai River. The legendary nature of Inkanamba is profound. Local residents firmly believe that this creature truly exists. Its legend can even be traced back to the earliest human settlers in this region. Ancient South African rock art records depict a practice called capture and beast hunting, which illustrates the most primitive forms of hunting magic. For the Bushman, rain is a symbol of life. Falling rain revitalizes the grasslands. Rain summoning is one of the most important tasks for Bushman shamans. They believe that hunting male cosmic beings stirs up dust and brings about roaring thunder. Conversely, female cosmic beings are associated with gentle rain. In rock art, the depiction of cosmic beings is not uniform. They are often antelope, cattle, or other common four-legged animals. However, there are also depictions of people fighting a giant snake, depicting scenes of fighting. Due to tribal differences, some shamans believe that snakes are also associated with rain. This belief might originate from the fact that wet environments after rain attract snakes. The depiction of these snakes sometimes incorporates characteristic features of mammals, but without exception, their size is always enormous. Stories about snakes are numerous and complex. Among them is the tale of the giant serpent in the Zulu people's pool. Nevertheless, the sightings we can find today about this water monster are very rare. Aside from some stories passed down by local tribes, the first documented account appeared in the June 1999 issue of the Fortean Times. In 1962, a ranger named Buthelezi was walking with a companion along the Umjanai River when they saw a giant snake with a horse-like head resting on a sandbank by the river. It was watching them, but when they tried to approach for a closer look, the creature quickly retreated into the water and disappeared. The sighting occurred near the current location of the Midmar Dam wall. Then there was Johannes Lowane, a staff member at a tourist campsite. During his tenure, He often sat on rocks at the edge of the cliff, playing his guitar, habitually looking down at the pool beneath the waterfall. Under such circumstances, he witnessed the giant black snake twice, once in 1974 and again in 1981. He stated that both sightings occurred in misty conditions. The snake's body was thicker than the width of an adult male. He described the creature's head as horse-like, with mane-like features on its head and the back of its neck, but it wasn't hair. The part of its body that emerged from the water was at least 10 meters high. However, please forgive me. As for the two incidents mentioned above, I couldn't find the original detailed records. The Fortean Times is the earliest documentation I could locate so far. The article did not mention specific sources either. In fact, Inkanamba only began to gain widespread attention toward the end of the last century. On a September morning in 1995, Bob Deeney, the owner of Howick Buffalo Restaurant, went to Howick Falls with his friend Richard to shoot an advertisement for the restaurant. When they arrived at a viewing platform near the pool, he habitually looked down at the water and suddenly noticed irregular bubbles appearing on the surface. Then, the massive head of a creature, connected to a long neck, slowly rose out of the water. It looked like an extraordinarily large snake, measuring at least 5 to 6 meters in length. This horrifying scene clearly shattered their understanding of reality. Fear urged them to flee quickly, but before escaping, Bob struggled to lift his trembling hand and aimed his camera at the creature. He captured this photograph. As seen in the image, a giant serpent-like head emerges from the water in front of the waterfall. Upon closer inspection, the texture on its neck is visible. In the lower left corner is Bob's friend, Richard. The appearance of this creature is very similar to the descriptions of the Loch Ness Monster we are familiar with. After the photo was released through the media, it quickly sparked controversy. Most comments suggested that this was a fabricated, fake photo. The main argument being, Bob Deeney was a member of the Howick Tourism Association at the time. Moreover, he offered a reward of 1,000 rand in a local newspaper to anyone who could capture a photo of the monster. Such actions make it hard not to believe that this was a staged spectacle orchestrated by him, with the purpose of attracting more tourists to visit the area. The basis for the false photo theory was also supported by British cryptozoologist Richard Freeman. He mentioned in his accounts that there were two versions of this photo in the media. One was darker, and the other brighter. In particular, in this image, upon close inspection, you can see the striped pattern on the creature's neck, and the aquatic plants in its mouth. This closely resembles an illustration from a book he saw as a child, titled Understanding Our World Prehistoric Life of Dinosaurs. In the article, he even provided a page from the book. He argued that while the image was mirrored, it was evidently the same picture. I personally studied this image for a long time, but couldn't discern the aquatic plants in the creature's mouth. In fact, Bob Deeney once stated in an interview that he was never afraid to show the photo or face people's skepticism. He was 100% certain that it was an authentic image. In fact, he even presented the original camera negatives as evidence. Additionally, he claimed to have found 3 sets of eggshells near the pool below the waterfall. The size of the eggs convinced him that they likely came from the mysterious giant snake. However, I couldn't find any follow-up information regarding tests conducted on the eggshells. So, regarding this incident, the most credible piece of evidence remains the film negative. As we all know, it was extremely difficult to fake negatives in the past. Even tampering with copies, after the film had been developed, could only involve blocking or removing certain parts, adding new images to negatives. I have yet to find a method for that. Of course, I'm not an expert in this field, so there might be more professional techniques that I am unaware of. In 1997, a local businessman named Brian Fry sighted the creature on the Umjanai River at night. He described it as having enormous red eyes and creating long ripples as it swam in the water. He characterized the creature as a very beautiful animal, and even crafted a miniature model of it. Additionally, in the 1990s, there were several other reported sightings. Most of these accounts came from local residents. They often described Inkanamba as a creature with a head resembling that of a horse or turtle, with a long neck exceeding 5 meters. and rough skin resembling that of a crocodile. This creature was said to attack humans, children, and feed on the corpses of victims. However, the exact timeframes and details of these reports, much like the 1997 account, are incomplete. Furthermore, there is no photographic evidence. Currently, the most widely accepted theory about Inkanamba suggests that it might be a misidentification of certain large eels. South African anthropologist Sean Hall believes that the despair and obsessive emotions of suicides are easily influenced. People, driven by desperation, choose to come here to end their lives, possibly under the influence of these bizarre legends. The dark shapes people report seeing might simply be a type of giant eel. The human corpses that were partially eaten are also likely the work of these animals. However, the issue with this theory is that it is currently known that there are only 4 species of freshwater eels in South Africa: the longfin eel, the African mottled eel, the bicolor eel, and the African striped eel. Even without delving into the specific distribution of each species, the largest known female longfin eel has a maximum length of about 2 meters. This is still significantly smaller than the reported size of Inkanamba. Moreover, even though some freshwater eels can survive out of water for extended periods, they clearly cannot perform the slow, head-raising movements described in the sightings. Professor Richard Freeman believes that local Zulu rituals of sacrificing livestock, as well as descriptions of the water monster eating human corpses and attacking children, might be linked to a giant crocodile. Australian zoologist Greg Smith also suggests that the eggshells Bob Deeney discovered most likely belonged to a crocodile. Additionally, the Nile crocodile is known to inhabit the Umjanai River region. The issue with this theory is that these communities, who have lived by the water for generations, have a sufficient understanding of crocodiles. They are also deeply afraid of these large reptiles. If we rule out misidentification, I personally believe that an aged African or Central African python might be the most reasonable explanation for Inkanamba. The most reasonable explanation. The python's head itself is triangular in shape. Additionally, in environments with large objects, witnesses are highly likely to experience visual distortions. For these 2 pythons, the known maximum body lengths are 5.8 meters and 6.5 meters, respectively. These measurements align with the characteristics described in the legends. Moreover, pythons have an extremely broad habitat range, including forests, grasslands, and semi-deserts, savannas, and similar regions. They particularly favor living near swamps, lakes, and riverbanks. Therefore, it is not impossible that larger individuals may exist in the Umjanai River region, swimming in the water, or surfacing occasionally. For witnesses at the water's edge, such sightings must be extremely striking. As for the claim that Inkanamba can summon storms, or fly into the clouds, these descriptions are largely exaggerations from legends. Frans Prince, an archaeologist at the KwaZulu-Natal Museum, stated that these ancient beliefs, depicted in rock art, span from the Bushmen to the Zulu people. Inkanamba is a remnant or variant of these early beliefs. Indeed, Zulu tribal stories sound extraordinarily bizarre and lean more towards a mythological form. Additionally, seeing Inkanamba is believed to signify misfortune and death, and the claim that only shamans can approach the water's edge directly limits people's understanding of the biological plausibility of the creature. Moreover, regarding the descriptions of Bob Deeney's sighting incident mentioned earlier, there is one detail that puzzles me greatly. That is the origin of the photograph. I found 2 completely different versions of the story. One, as mentioned earlier, is that Bob Deeney took the photo himself. The other version claims that Bob Deeney initially didn't have a camera, and the photograph was sent to him anonymously, along with the negatives after he announced the reward in the newspaper. As a result, current online and media records are split into 2 versions of the incident. Bob Deeney himself appeared in interviews for Animal X and Mystery Hunters, 2 documentary series. These series aired in 1997 and 2008, respectively. Even in these shows, Bob Deeney's accounts presented the 2 different versions mentioned above. Therefore, I believe the credibility of this incident is still questionable. Overall, regarding the legends and sightings of Inkanamba, To this day, we still cannot provide a definitive scientific explanation, whether based on ancient beliefs and cultural traditions, or the personal experiences of individual witnesses. These stories all contribute to the mysterious and captivating nature of South Africa. They inspire curiosity and a desire to explore the unknown. I believe that one day, guided by science, we will explore every corner of this world and unveil the mysteries of these creatures. Well, as always, the unknown is always greater than the known. This is the charm of UMA. That's it for this episode. Thank you for watching.